joining me today. My name is Martha, as always. We are going to start with a warm-up and we'll get right into our Pilates session for today. I have my water bottle with me and I have a little t-shirt that I use as a cushion. So if you do have any bony knees, hips, elbows that you want to cushion, grab that now so you have it. And we are going to start rolling down. That's one of my favorite ways to go. So I will turn this direction. Circle those arms up toward the sky. Get a nice opening stretch through the body. See the sky. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Reach those heels down to the floor. And now we're going to follow that chin dropping toward the chest. The arms hanging. Softly bend into the knees here. Release through the head and neck. Relax through the arms and shoulders. Hang here for just a little bit. Bend into the knees a little bit deeper and stretch the legs a little bit straighter. Allow your spine to respond to the movement through the ankles, knees, and hips here. We want to be kind to our bodies. We're going to roll it all the way back up. We'll do one more. Circle those arms up. Open that thoracic spine, lengthening through that. Actually, it's the sternum that we're thinking of opening here. And roll down again. This time, walk out into your plank. Find that plank here. Stay long through the spine. Generate some warmth across the joints. Starting to get a little bit more activity through the abs, the shoulders. Feel the shift of the body. We're not going to stay here long, just a few more shifts. And then we're going to walk our hands back toward our knees. Place those heels down again and roll all the way back up. I'm going to turn the face towards you. And you do just a side body reach. So as you're sending one arm up and over, the other arm, your fingers are reaching down toward the floor. And think of, so right now I'm reaching my right arm over. So I'm going to plant my right heel down a little bit so I'm not leaning away from that heel. That's going to increase that stretch. Come all the way up and then same thing other side. Long reach, that arm going all the way over, fingers reaching toward that floor, and then that heel of the same arm reaching over, reaching toward that floor in opposition. And then come all the way up. Here you're going to take your hand, just kind of hold your own hand, round into that spine, bend into the knees, feel this kind of circular space of the body, and then stand up and take the hands from behind, roll those shoulders back, lift the chest up. Again, breathe into that and release out. Good. Now if we were on a reformer, Pilates reformer, we'd be doing some footwork right now. So we're going to do just kind of a standing footwork. If you would like a little chair for stability, please feel free to get it. Otherwise, take your feet into a V-shaped position, heels together, toes apart. Knees are going to align over the toes, and you're going to bend into the knees and stretch the legs straight. And we're just going to do a little bend and extend. Now, if you have a band, if you have weights, this is a good time to add into that. Let me show you what I mean. So if you have a band at home, you can start to add a little action through the upper body. Now if you do not have a band, but maybe you have 2 cans of corn, then you could be holding corn in your hands. That's something I never thought I'd be saying. You could be holding those weights in your hands as you're bending and extending. We're going to do 4 more here. 3. Notice the crease and release through the ankles, knees, and hips. And then this is our last one. We're going to stay down and then little pulse. Keep your heels down. You can send those arms out. Even if you don't have any weights, just adding a little bit of arm movement will just kind of take it up a notch. Get some more warmth. Moving through the shoulder girdle. We'll do 2 more and 1 more. And then come all the way upright. Here we'll come to a parallel position, so knees and toes are facing forward. We basically have our heels about the width of our shoulders. You could go a little bit lighter and think more hip distance apart, whatever works for you. And then again, add those arms, weights or not. If you have a band, you can continue to play with different band exercises as you bend and extend. Now I'm not going into like a deep squat here. I'm just trying to stay tall, generally tall, so that you can kind of see that. It's almost like you have your back sliding up against a wall as you go. We're going to do about 3 more, 2 more. One more time, we're going to stay here, and again we're going to pulse. If you want a little press overhead with those weights, breathe it in, breathe it out. You can press out to the side. You don't even need to have weights in your hands. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stretch it straight. And now we'll rotate so that we are externally rotated through the hips. And we have a wide stance through our legs. If you're a dancer, think kind of like a second position, maybe not as wide as you might go there. And again, we're going to bend into those knees and stretch the legs straight. And now I'm just adding some arms for the fun of it. You can send them up high. You can keep them up high the whole time. You could just be reaching through it. You've got lots of options here. As you're doing this, watching that the knees are in alignment with the toes, feeling your core really strong here because that's really important, and trying to get a little release into these joints. We'll do 3 more. We're going to go into our pulses, 2 and 1. We're going to come down, stay down, and pulse it out. Little pulse. You can feel free to bring those arms in front of you, overhead. If you have weights, a little tricep press. Should feel some heat generated through the quadriceps here. I'm just going to keep moving my arms because that makes me happier. We have 4, 3, 2, 1, and stretch those legs straight. Lift and lower the heels here a few times, just focusing in on that stretch through the ankle joint and the lower leg. Feel again free to move those arms. If you want to do a little bicep curl with the action, by all means, please do. We have a few more, and 2, and 1. And relax. Here, let's just take another long side body stretch, kind of opening up into that and to the other direction. We're going to take this down to the floor now. So finding your way down, you want your feet just about a fistful of space apart, a few inches between the knees and toes, and then lying down on your back so that you've got a nice comfortable position. Now you are starting in that neutral, so that means the natural curve that you have in your low back is present. And then as we go through this, you're going to roll through that imprint to come up to a bridge and then roll back down. So feel free to join me here. Starting to roll up, we're breathing that out. We hold here at the top. We want to take a nice good inhale, not just into the chest, but side body, back body. Think about that breath, filling the space, and then exhale and lower down. And we're going to repeat that just 2 more times here so that we have a lot of mobility, warmth, and engagement through the full body before we add on to it. Because in Pilates, it's always about layering on. So here, we're going to lift up, and we're going to start to lift one leg. And when we lower that leg, we're going to step it out wide. We'll lift the other leg, step it out wide. And then we come back to center, lift, step narrow, lift, step narrow. Good. So now you can keep going wide and wide narrow, and narrow. And if that's just not an option for you, you can keep it small, just really small. Baby steps here, right? And if alternating isn't good, you can lower and lift little pulses. So you should just keep on doing whatever variation you're on right now, and feel free to move between them if you're looking to kind of build up that strength, but you maybe aren't quite ready. You'll do a couple sets of each so that you're working on that endurance. So here we'll do one more set of this full marching action, and whatever you've chosen to do, just fill the space here. Good, and then we're gonna lower everything down, releasing through that spine. Hug those knees to the chest. Here you can also hug kind of from behind the knee for a little stretch, and gently rock your body side to side, kind of releasing out some of that tension. Again, we're coming back to our bridge position. Now when we lift this time, instead of rolling through it, trying to move my arms so that you can see it. So that is one way to come up into a bridge. This way we're going to think more of kind of a hovering, like you've got two strings attached to your hip bones, and then they lift straight up and lower straight back down. So hopefully you can see the difference there in the camera. So we lift and lower, and as you do, kind of check in on the rib cage. We don't want to pop that rib cage out. That's done more in a yoga setting, but here we're going to try to think of those ribs kind of attaching down to the hips like short suspenders, moving with the hips and then lowering back down. Breathe out, breathe in. Now I'm always thinking of ways to make this a little bit more challenging. So if you're looking for more challenge, you could potentially have like a ball between your legs there so that you're giving it a little squeeze as you lift up. Or if you have that band, you could lift up and open out. So either one could be done without the apparatus, but if you do have that apparatus, you can add it to the workout at any time. So I'm choosing just to open and close as I go out. We're going to add on to this, so feel free to do either of these two exercises, or add on, you're going to lift one leg to tabletop, and then you're just going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. We're going to do 3 more, so we're doing 5 on each side. 2 more, you can also have that leg straight. 1 more, return the leg, lift the other leg, and same thing. We have 5 and 4. Good, you can have that leg straight. 3 and 2 and 1. Both coming down again. We roll down through the spine. We hug those knees into the chest wherever is comfortable, and gently rock the body side to side. Here we're going to go into a little bit of an ab sequence. So as we work and focus on our abs, generally your safe space is to bring your legs to your tabletop. If this starts to fatigue out your back or your hip flexors, you're going to lower your legs at any time. And then you can kind of even play with lifting and lowering through the legs here to build up that endurance. So you're going to find the place that works best for you. If, too, you're having a neck issue, but you want to build up that endurance, you can bring the hands behind the head for a little extra support. So these are just kind of examples of what you could do. Doesn't mean you have to do them, just want you to know they're available for you. Okay, so starting here, I'm going to start with my arms overhead and bring both of my legs to my tabletop position. I'm going to extend one leg out as I reach those fingers toward my thighs and then bring it back in. I've chosen to lift and lower through my head, neck, and shoulders, and you are going to make the choice that works best for you. You could do one arm at the back of the head, one arm reaching. As you're lengthening into those legs, remember you want to keep your low back in your imprint. So if you're having a hard time keeping the spine in imprint, you're feeling some bad tension there, then the legs go higher, Or as I mentioned before, you could tap, and you could, or even just have one leg up and one leg down. So this whole time, you're working from the place that makes the most sense, but still gives you a good fair amount of challenge. We're gonna bring both of our legs back to tabletop. Start to rotate in the spine. Now here you can continue to have your hands at the back of the head, or you can reach to either side. Challenging that stability, that neck endurance. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. It's really important to breathe with the movement. That's going to help you to get into your deepest abdominals. We'll do one more time each side. Good. Now feel free to bring your hands back to the head down, whatever works. You're going to extend your legs up. Now you can put a soft bend in the knees there if that's more comfortable, in the hips and the back, or you can lengthen into it. We're going to do a little bit of a straddle. You can't really tell, but my legs are slightly open, and you're going to flex forward here. Now you can reach one arm through, breathe it out, breathe it in. You can go for a deep straddle here. I just happen to have a wall in the way, so there's a better understanding like this. Anyway, so choose your straddle as you go. And then you can do like I'm doing, one hand at the back of the head. You can keep the head down and then lower and lift. Or you can keep your head up the whole time. Make it a little bit smaller. Let's go for 5 and 4. Got to move out of the wall. 3 and 2 and 1, and then everything comes back in. Hopefully you were feeling some abdominal engagement there. We're gonna flip on over, let our hips and spine relax in that direction, and work on some thoracic extension. Thoracic is just your thoracic vertebrae. Those are kind of your upper back vertebrae. Hands coming to either side. Now if you need a little cushion, cushion for your hips, feel free to place that down, and then you'll come back down. Here we're gonna have our hands on that mat, the forearms as well. Slide the shoulders down and lift just a little bit. So really small lift here, thinking about lengthening through the neck and the crown of the head, reaching those toes away. My legs are rotated here, knees and toes kind of pointing out and away, so I'm not smashing my kneecaps into the floor. You can keep your legs together if you have that mobility in your low back. I do not, and we're all built a little differently. And then you're gonna lower back down. We're gonna repeat that here. Breathe in, slide the shoulders down. Exhale, rise up. Hold here, breathe in, and exhale, lower down. And we'll do this one more time. Shoulders slide down. We rise up. Hold here, and lower. Now this time, hands come beneath the forehead. As we lift up, if we want more support, we're gonna keep our hands down. If we want more challenge, we're gonna lift up. So inhale, shoulders slide down. Exhale, we lift up. You can add a reach of the arms to the side or to the back, depending on your space. Bring it back under the forehead and lower back down. Exhale it out. Breathe it in. Lift a little higher. Breathe out. Lower it all the way down. Inhale, shoulders are down. Exhale, we rise up. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Lower down. Twice more like this. Feel your core tightening up, kind of lifting away from the floor there. Hollow out the abs. Lengthen through the toes and squeeze the glutes a little bit. Feel your pubic bone press down into the mat beneath you. We're going to pull back into our child's pose and stretch into our low back just a little bit here, giving that spine an opportunity to move in many directions. That's one of the main key points through Pilates, is that we create this flow and mobility through your spine in all the directions it can go. And with that said, you're going to bend your knees here gently and take your hand onto your ankle, and then that other arm is going to reach up and over, and you're going to get a little bit of a stretch. Your side body stretch, opening through the spine, breathing into it. Check the shoulders so you can relax them a little bit, and feel free to kind of change with your focus in this space, allowing the neck to move free and easy. And then we'll do this to the other side. So again, those knees are bent. You have your hand there on the ankle for a little support as you reach up and over. Again, open through the head and neck, relax into those shoulders. Feel that stretch, feel that lengthening in the side body. You should be trying to breathe as naturally as you can. I find mine is a little bit come and go because I'm talking and then I'm trying to breathe and do the things that I'm telling you to do. So that can be kind of funny for me. We are going to shift, still seated, into a bit of a spine twist. Now, as you're in this position, you can be upright through the legs, a little bit of a straddle. It doesn't have to be a big straddle. You can put a little bend into the knees. Our goal is to stay tall in the spine, be right on top of our sits bones. Our sits bones are our bones inside our bum. I don't know how else to describe that to you. If you've ever had someone sitting on your lap and you just kind of felt the bony butt, those were the sits bones you were feeling. So arms are going to go out wide to the side. We're going to rotate. We're holding here. We're just going to feel that stretch in the spine and then return back. Check the shoulders, slide them down. Nice deep breath in. Breathe it out. And then breathe it in. Now, as I go for my twist this time, I'm going to bend the elbow and draw back. Think like that lawnmower. Is it? No, it's not. Is it the lawnmower? That like silly dance move or what is that? The sprinkler? Anyway, 3 times to one direction. Stretch it out straight, and then 3 times to the other direction. Now for me, that bothers my hip flexors a little bit, so I'm going to bend my knees, come back to that start, and then do the same thing. 3 rotations. Breathe out a staccato breath with each one. Breathe it out. And then back to center. Keep that going. Good inhale here. And exhale. And inhale. We're working into our rotator muscles. These are muscles through our spine, as well as our obliques, which you're probably more familiar with toward the kind of front side body. We're going to go one more round. And back straight, and then the other side. And back to center, and relax. If that was a lot on the shoulders and neck, take a moment, give yourself a little stretch, move your spine a little bit, your neck a little bit, so that you're feeling comfortable. Okay, we're going to move into a plank. So you've heard me mention about planks before. You can be on your hands, your knees, your forearms, or your toes. So whatever plank you choose, go ahead and find it. And as you find it, think of the lengthening through the spine. One long line. The energy goes both directions, kind of like a freeway. I lived in Los Angeles for many years, so my Los Angeles people, my traffic jam people, you know what I'm talking about. You've got people going in both directions. Lots of energy, both directions. So even if you're not moving, you're still thinking of sending that energy out through the body. Now I'm just talking here because we're holding this plank. It's a party, it's a plank party. You're invited. Hopefully you'll stay. Just hang here for a while. If you need to adjust your position, feel free to adjust your position, but try to keep holding that plank. Breathing into it, full breath. Breathe out. I don't have a timer, so I have no idea where we're at, but my goal was to get to about 30 seconds. So I'm going to say we were almost there, or maybe we've even surpassed it. And good for us if we're holding for just a little bit longer. And then I'm gonna lower my knees here. Feel free to join me and stretch into a child's pose, relaxing across the shoulders into that low back, feeling a little bit of a release here. We're gonna continue to work with our plank. So coming back to this, I'm gonna try this version with my forearms down just because I have some achy wrists today, but you can have your hands down fully. Find your full plank here. You're gonna lift one leg. You're gonna point that toe and shift back. Flex the foot, shift forward, and lower down. So we lift, we point to shift back, flex forward, and lower. Keep this going. If you need to modify, please do so. You can do this with the knees down. It's not quite as much of a shift as you normally would, but it's still an option. Good. We're going for 4 more. Inhale and exhale. 3 more. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Feel the core really strong. Feel the spine long. 1 more round. And we lower down. Both knees coming down. Pull back. Child's pose stretch. Relax. If the arms are more comfortable beside the hips, feel free to come there for that stretch. And here, we'll roll ourselves all the way back up, right? I'm gonna have a drink. Feel free to grab your water as well. We're gonna go into some side planking. I want to show you some options for your side plank. Options for the upper body are the hand or the forearm. For the legs, knees, or you can have the legs totally straight. So other arm's gonna reach up, and I'm just gonna show you the kneeling one because we're hoping for a nice long stretch through that side body. So we're not just coming to your plank where you lift and lower the hips, but we're adding that stretch through the body. So feel free to join me here. Knees, elbows, hands or toes. As you're coming up, you're getting that good long exhale. I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna show you kind of the longer version. That long body stretch. As you're doing this, you wanna watch the shoulders are over the wrists as you're lifting up and lowering down so that you're feeling that support through the body. Now I'm gonna lift up, stay here, and reach my fingers toward my toes, rotating my hips toward the sky, then come back and down. Now you can keep doing what you were just doing, or you can do this variation. Get that long stretch, then rotate and reach, bring it back in, and all the way up. We're going for 3 more here. Breathe with it. Find that rotation, reach to the toes. 2 more. Good. And 1 more time. All the way through it. And lower yourself all the way down. Awesome. So you know that means we gotta do the other side. So find again that position that works for you. I'm gonna start where I was before with my knees, but you can have your legs totally straight. Other arm is up. We're going for that long body stretch. Breathe with it. Inhale and exhale. Get that inhale and exhale. It's kind of a slow one, allowing you to have that full breath moving through the body. I'm going to shift into my straight leg version. You can join me or not. You might already be there. I might be joining you. And then remember, I have a plant there, so that's, I'm running into my plant. But remember that you want to keep that shoulder over the wrist. Keep the length and alignment through the body. We'll do 2 more like this, and then we're going to go for 5 with the twist. You can join me for the twist. You can do a variation as you go. I feel like I'm slipping a little bit. We're going to go over Reach under. Those fingers are reaching toward the toes. Check your shoulder. Push out of that so you're not sinking into it. Come back in and all the way back down. 4 more. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Lovely. 3 more. Find that twist. 2 more, my peoples. All the way up and over. Rotate into it. Bring it back in. And 1 more time. My feet are slipping off of my mat. And we're going to come all the way back down. I got to roll out my wrists. That was a lot on the wrists, but hopefully not a lot on your wrists. Okay, we're almost through our session today. We're going to do another ab series. So as you come into this position, you're lying on your back. Your legs come back to kind of a tabletop, bent, or you can choose to be all the way straight. That's just going to depend on what you're feeling today, what feels good for you. We're in an imprinted position into that lower back, and we're going to do a little bit of a lift in the hips and lower. So now I'm going to take my arms out of the equation. I'm just going to reach into the sky here so you can see my body. The goal here is to feel your lower body peel off of your mat. Sometimes we have our hands down so that it's like our shoulders and our neck are trying to lift us up, which is why I've just moved my arms so that you can see what it should look like, and then try to mirror that. Feel free, you can have your arms overhead. If your arms are by the side of the body, try to turn the palms up so you're not pushing into the forearms. Good, we'll do a few more like this. Exhale out as you're lifting up. Should feel some deep abdominal engagement here. You may have heard me refer to the pelvic floor, maybe another instructor. Those are the muscles at the base of your pelvis. If you're still like, I have no idea what you're talking about, I get it. Like, that sounds so nebulous, right? You're gonna extend your legs out, tuck those knees in, roll it up. Extend out, tuck in, roll it up. So every time you use the restroom, you're using some of the muscles in your pelvic floor for all the things that you do when you go to the bathroom. So those are the muscles associated with your pelvic floor. There are other muscles down there, of course, but to give you kind of an understanding that I know you're familiar with. Now you could do this with straight legs the whole time, which would be more challenge across the abdominals. I myself am choosing to do a little bent leg version, which is just fine for me today. You could even go a little bit lower with those legs. We'll go 2 more. 1 more time. And bring those knees in and relax. Now here we're going to roll up but the opposite direction. So extending those legs out long. I need to move a little bit. Little inchworm on my mat. And reach the arms overhead. So overhead meaning to the wall behind you and not to the sky above you to start. We're nice and long through the spine. We breathe in. The fingers are reaching toward the sky. Exhale, we drop the chin toward the chest to lengthen into the neck. We peel the spine 1 vertebrae at a time off of the mat. We're trying to go so slowly here because we want that endurance for our abdominals. Reach those fingers to the toes, then sit up tall and roll down. Now as you do, try not to let your arms drop in front of you. That's a counterbalance, although you can if you need a little extra support. And then lower down from there. Now, as we go through this, you may need to get a little bit more of an anchor. Maybe you're pressing your heel down into the floor and hugging one leg in. Maybe you've got your toes kind of reaching under a couch for a little bit of leverage. Maybe both of your knees are bent and that makes it a little bit easier. It's so much of it, there's so many variables in this particular exercise. So if we have more of our weight up top, kind of, you know, belly button and above, then lifting our bodies off of the floor is a little bit harder to do if our lower body is just like kind of skinny legs and not a lot of weight there. Sort of your apple body type person. If you have more distribution of your weight, then your legs might be able to anchor you, which may make it a little bit easier for you. So whatever your situation is, if you can't roll through that low back because it's painful, you have some back issues, then please don't. I'm not giving you these exercises to make your life worse. I'm trying to give them to you to make it better. So you, again, need to listen to me with a grain of salt, you know, knowing that there may be some modifications that you need. And always feel free, you can make notes in the comments, you can question if you have any particular requests or questions. I'm happy to try to review those for you so that you can continue to grow in your own strength. And I can help you do that. I'm happy to help you do that. Good. So we've probably done a million of those. And this time we're going to roll up, and as we roll up, we're going to stay up. I'm going to bend my knees. I want to come just behind my sits bone so I have a bit of a curve through the spine. That does not mean my shoulders have to come to my ears. Arms are going to reach out in front of me, and I'm going to lift my legs to a tabletop position. So I'm going to rotate just a little bit so you can see that. We're going to reach back a little bit and forward a little bit. So not all the way down, not all the way up. If this is a lot, feet can come down to the floor. If you need more support, put a pillow or a small, gosh, what could you put here? A cushion, a couch cushion or something to give you some support so that you're not falling all the way back and you're safe as you're rolling forward and back. We'll go for 4 more. And 3. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Now you can lower down if you need to. Otherwise, stay up. Stay up if you can. This is more balanced challenge is better. But if you need to lower down, lower down. We're going to rotate to one side. Send those legs out and then crunch into one side. We have 8 more. 7. 6. 5. 4. Filling it. 3. 2, if the hip flexors are bugging you, lower the legs down. Other side, you can keep the legs down or go up. 8, 7, 6, 5. Feel that rotation. Relax the shoulders. 4, or that might be 3, 2, 1, and bring it all the way up. I'm going to turn the face towards you. Let my knees kind of drop out to the side. Just a little bit of release through the legs here. And now here I'm going to place the elbows against the knees and gently press down, kind of opening through the hips there. And then I'm going to come up and over for a nice long body stretch. One more time, other side. We're going to go just a couple more exercises here and call it good for the day. So this next one you'll be kneeling. If you would like a cushion, grab it here. I'm going to place my t-shirt under my knee and move my water bottle. Okay, so you can do this lying on your side. If it bugs you to be on your wrist, on your knee, something's going on with your neck, lie fully down on your side. You're going to lift your leg up, flex your foot, and then 2 pulses forward, swinging that leg forward, and 1 pulse back, pointing that toe. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Breathe in. Now this is working into our side glutes, our outer thighs, as well as that upper body We've got that shoulder neck connection, and then that core. Bring it all together. We should be doing about 10 of these. I'm going to say that was about 6. We have 3 and 2. Good. And 1. All the way through it and lower that down. I'm going to shift on over to the other side. Shouldn't have been the most intense. Just a little bit of movement across the hip is what I was going for you today. And then flex that foot, 2 pulses forward, and then 1 behind. Breathe it out. And inhale. Breathe out. Check the shoulders and the neck. Change the focus. Sometimes that is all that you need to take some tension out of the spine. We have 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more time. And then bring that all the way in and relax. Okay, last one of the day, my people. We're gonna start standing. Oh, come over here. Hopefully my head is not cut off by this video. We're gonna start with that reach up through the arms. We've done this before. We'll roll down through the spine. Walk the hands out away from the toes and find a plank position. I just gotta stay on my mat. Now here in this plank, we're gonna do a little bit of a push-up. You can lower the knees down here, it's totally fine. Our push-up is a tricep press, so the elbows are gonna hug into the waistline, and then they're gonna go back straight again. We're not going for that wide stance. 3, 2, 1, and then we exhale, push that back up. 3, 2, 1, exhale, push it back up. Now again, you can do that. 3, 2, 1, and then push back up. I'm a little bit not so great at this. So what I like to do to build my strength is go 3, 2, 1. I lower my knees and then push back up so I can keep my form. Lengthen through it. 3, 2, 1, and push up. We'll go 1 more time like this. 3, 2, 1. Push it up. We walk our hands back to our feet. Roll up all the way through the spine. And we call it a day. Awesome. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. I look forward to having you join me again. Please let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. I'd love to be able to help you through this. Okay, see you next time.